Hi and welcome to the stream. That was just some tracks of mine called Fender Dreams first, then we heard Fix Adventure. Hi Gennaro, how are you? Good to see you. Good to see we have some new people in here too. Tracy Harms. Tropical Nation. This is Prisma. Hi there. Evening Beep. Timothy. Hi. So let's close down some windows here maybe. How are you tonight? Let's see, we have the audio. How's the audio today? Is it good? Working mic? Working 9 to 5? Always a new haircut. New haircut every day. Yeah, so I saw some question here regarding if we could talk some more Bitwig 3 and other new features apart from the grid. And I actually did a little lookup here because it's very easy to get sucked into this all these grid features. And basically they are, yeah, if we look at the website here, we can see that it's a lot about this polygrid and effect grid. But that's it's a huge update to Bitwig, so I guess that's the main features in the Bitwig Studio 3 version, except for some updates to the compressor and, yeah, UI improvements. So let's see here. A new world of possibility in Bitwig Studio. Yeah, so hardware integration. And then I see they have some new word of modularity. Their vision, the Bitwig vision. And here we can read about Bitwig Studio 1, Bitwig Studio 2. It was all about the modulators and some hardware integration. And then we have this new fully modular system in Bitwig 3 with the grid and the polygrid. So I did a little poll poll request on the YouTube community tab. And I was asking a little about what kind of topics we should discuss and what kind of topics we should, or DAWs and plugins we should check out in the stream. And we can see here that we have 60% on the Bitwig Studio and 22% for Logic Pro X. I actually wanted to do a Logic Pro X stream, but maybe we can do this like a part of the stream doing some Bitwig Studio, then a part of the stream looking at Logic Pro X, because I want to show off a little bit why I choose to work in Logic Pro X for film scoring and some of the game scores that I create. Then we of course have this FL Studio 20.2 beta with the new Flex plugin. Do we have any FL Studio people in here today? Yeah, and then we have orchestral instruments 10% and Omnisphere 2 6%. But I guess this stream will be a little mixture, so we will talk a little bit about some various topics. Okay, so you made a switch from FL Studio to Bitwig. Hi there, Airgear, how are you? Cerberus, does FL Studio have a free tier? If so, is it any good? I think they have this Bitwig Studio 8-bit, 8-track version, if that was what you were referring to. Bye. Robert Hewitt, hi there, good to see you. Bitwig Logic and Reason. Yeah, so they have a educational edition. It's a discount here. And then we have the 8-track, upgrade from 8-track. So is the 8-track a free version? Yeah, absolutely tropical, not tropical, tropical. It works flawlessly on laptops, so that's very good. But I also think that FL Studio also works quite nicely on laptops. Logic is a little bit demanding on laptops. At least for a while I was using this, I think it's Logic 9, that I was using on laptops for a while because of its lightweight interface. But then they upgraded to Logic 10 and we have all this new graphical interface, which is a bit more heavy on the processor. Yeah, okay, so the 8-track is a free bundle with controllers. Hi Holon, good to see you. So let's load up the beast, the Bitwig Studio 3 Beta 4. I haven't tried to set up a portable thumb drive. I just install it into the computer. I'm not running totally from small drives. Yeah, so some of these other upgrades aside, at least those that I know of to this Bitwig 3, is the new interface of the compressor. And I think it's the same thing with the peak limiter. Yeah, it's some new design on these two devices. But I guess the main part of the update is related to the grid effects and the polygrid. Okay, Cerebus, you haven't downloaded it yet. Time to download. Stable and stable, yeah. I mean, the track that I've been working on lately here, it's in Bitwig 3, the beta 4, and it hasn't crashed. Aside from, I think it was using extra voices. If we load up a polysynth here, if you press the polysynth and you change this voice stacking, then I had some crash. So I guess if you don't fiddle with the voice stacking, you're good to go. But I think it's most of the time it's working. Maybe it was only on a certain one of the plugins. I can't recall exactly which of the devices it was that caused the crash. Yeah, that sounds lovely, Gennaro. Just go with the update, go with the flow. Yeah, absolutely, Tropical. It's very convenient if you're moving around in different studios, but I guess you also have a laptop with you that you have it pre-installed on all the time. So Gennaro, how do you like the Nectar Impact 25? Is it a good controller? I just wanted to point out also that you have this super chat function here in the YouTube stream. So if you want to support this stream, you can always send a super chat and get your comment highlighted at the top for a while. Good to hear that it's a great controller. Yeah, so I was pointing out in the previous stream a little bit how I probably will work with this polygrid. And I guess since I'm not a totally modular guy, I work mainly with these synths like Omnisphere 2 and Serum and Zebra, etc. So I guess what I really wanted with this grid is to have a more node-like overview of the layered instrument setups. So I will use it like this, dragging in a few samplers maybe, when doing some sound design. Let's see what we have on that channel. We will get rid of the triangle and reroute this sampler. A really great update, I think, to the sampler here in the grid is that they added this little warning triangle down here. So if you have deactivated this note input symbol, you will get this triangle, because in a previous stream I was doing, I couldn't get the note input to work on the sampler, and I couldn't realize why. And now it's very easy to see if you have deactivated this for some reason. So let's see if we can do some fun sound design with this. if this is a bug here. Let's see if we have the pitch input and drag it to the... I wonder if this is a bug, because if I do a sampler out here, let's see. You always have to remember to push any of these, the any device or the instrument if you want to find your instruments here. Because now I was apparently in note effects, so I can't see any of the synths that I have in this smart collection. But as soon as we press this any device or the instruments, we can see the instruments here. So now we have this sampler. So here we have the pitch from the keyboard working with the sampler. But if I do the same setup in the grid, somehow it didn't really relate or work with the pitch input. Let's see here, do another grid. Here we have the pitch working correctly. Let's delete that one and add our sampler. Drag the same sample. So now it's still playing in the same pitch. So that's a little bit weird. Hi Moon Janonsky, good to see you. Andrew Smith, good to see you too. How are you doing, guys? So somehow the input pitch from the device apparently doesn't work with the sampler in this beta version, or at least for me, I can't get the pitch to work, even if I do the pitch input to this sampler. Yeah. But we can of course connect some kind of maybe connect, let's see here. Yeah, maybe just quit this project and see if that's some occasional bug, or if it's a fixed bug, an unfixed bug. Hi Moon Jonsky. Well, if you buy 2.5, I guess we can always speculate, because they haven't announced actually when Bitwig version 3 will be released. We can only speculate, but I guess it's I mean, the license is probably for a year, I guess. And Bitwig 3 should be released before that. So let's do the same setup again here with the polygrid and do a little sampler in here, because this was working in the previous version at least. The pitch. Maybe find another sample. Yeah. No, it's still not listening to the note input. Yeah, so basically what I was talking about is how I will use the grid, and that's probably to do this layered sound design with different sampler inputs. So I might add a few samplers like this, maybe zoom out slightly here, and then merge them all into a mixer like this. Oh, sorry. We have these additional outputs, so we can make the mixer grow and have 3 different sources. Maybe have some other cool loops going in there. Some auto Berlin. Let's see if we can. Maybe set all these in loop mode. So the good thing here about about what I like about this grid setup is that now I can see all the playbacks, the playhead position for all these samplers at the same time, which make it quite convenient if you're doing granular sound design and if you want multiple sources. Yeah, absolutely. Dub the frog, you're totally right. Some LFOs and a little bit of gating, and we have the start of a track here. And so we have some polyrhythm going on here too, because these samples doesn't match up in tempo. So we can add a filter in here. Let's see if we can take this, the SWF filter. Maybe it's time to put on the headphones so you don't have double input from the microphone and from the speakers. Okay, so we have some heavy gains here. Yeah, wicked. Okay, so let's show some cool stuff in here. We can create that LFO that we were talking about. And then this LFO has this modulation output. It also has this regular cable output, but I'm using it with this regular automation output. Let's see what the tempo is here. We have 110. Yeah, so that's we need to fix that to make that map up with the tempo. Okay, so now suddenly we have the pitch working with the samplers. I don't know why, but this must definitely be a little bit of a bugging going on. Okay, so we will see where this where the hits from that beat lands. Okay, so maybe only have these two going on. So we can do the bass with something else later. So we can add a swarm oscillator in here. So we need to pitch this. Oh. So I'm doing this by ear just to find the pitch. So maybe do some modulation to one of these, so we have one of these sounds moving around a little bit in the stereo field. Since this is the fatter tone, we can keep that more centered. Sounds like Tosca. So we can do the same thing here. We add a new LFO and attach that modulator to the panning. It's going a little bit fast, so we can drag down there to make it sync to bars. Maybe even 0.5. So that makes the sound move around a little bit in the stereo field there. Yeah, so some simple stuff here. Just so I don't have to play this all the time while we work on the sound. Yeah, exactly. The retriggering is making it sounding more like synced. But I'm not using these upper ones because they have too much rhythmic material. So, as you say, Tracy, we need to find samples that are in the same tempo, or we need to find the time stretching exactly right so they match up. It's better to use this technique by dragging the samples in here, because here we can sync them exactly. But this was just a fun little test to show how I probably will create sounds. And yeah. So maybe we can add some delay to this one. Maybe we can do some fun stuff with this bass, so it can sound like some kind of top layer. Maybe it can sound like a kind of artifact on top of this sound. So we can probably destroy the sound a little bit with some shapers. So let's see if we can maybe use this shaper. So what you notice here is that you can also right-click and change to any device that is similar to this distortion or saturation device, wave shaper device. Yeah, so that's a little bit too much. I kind of like it when it's more subtle. So maybe do some drums on top of this, so it's not. Maybe this time we can use the drum machine, because I usually add the drums in like this, in just dragging the samples, but for a change we can use the drum machine, just for the fun of it. So we can have the kick and the snare on the standard MIDI notes. So we need to make sure that we have the release. Let's just do a simple little thing. And see to that we have this synced up, because it's not. We'll actually do like this and do a little bit of rearranging here. Let's see if we can change it to. Totally untight. So why is that LFO? Okay, so there we have the retrigger. It was just the LFO was just going wild with its own with its own sync. So we need to make sure that the retrigger is on there. I'm just checking the flow here. So let's add some room reverb to that snare. Just a little bit. Add some kind of shaker as a hi-hat. And here I'm just filling in the blank spots here when we don't have a kick or a snare. So symbols and splashes and crashes and impacts, I usually add them just to the timeline because it's easier to just map them up and make the length of the samples as you want them. Because if they're MIDI, it's harder to see the length of the sample. So maybe we can do some less mangling to this. So let's add some delay and reverb on this, and then we have some kind of backdrop for this little beat thing. Maybe go with the color copy, color swappy. So here we have the ducking again. It's a very great function to get rid of the delays while we have the incoming signal into this, into the delay. So I think the bad thing about adding too many notes at an early stage of your arrangement is that you lock yourself into a certain harmony or certain melodic content. So I don't usually add too many notes at the beginning of working on a track. So I would probably just get rid of these so that we have a more open melodic so we have more notes to go to, so to speak. So then it's easier to change this, because if you only play the root note, you can always go to major, minor, or whatever you want. So that's a little tip if you're composing music. There was some questions before the stream, and someone wanted to talk about melody, harmony, etc. So maybe we can talk a little about harmony and creating melodies, etc. Hi there Accurate, good to see you. Kul med lite svenskt besök i streamen. So we have Ace composed it. Ben84, hi there, how are you tonight? Yeah, absolutely, we can go anywhere if we don't add too many notes in the beginning of our cue, because this test, while we were doing the sound design, it has too many notes and it's too fixed, at least for me when working on melodies. I want it to be a little bit more open. So I will explain that here. We will just add a simple piano, because that's Håll on Mundi, du är svensk också, kul. Good to see more Swedes in here. So this is a piano that I usually work with when I'm writing melodies. And another tip is don't work too low on the keyboard when you are writing the melody, because the notes will muddy up a lot more in the low end. So it's a very good practice to work on a melody in the mid-range or the upper range. And we can easily prove that if we go down here to quite the low register, and if I play something like, or just so we can hear that everything is mudding up, and if I play the same phrase, so it's we can easily play a lot more notes, and the things will not muddy up, so it's easier to write the melodies in the upper range. And don't do too much in the left hand if you are writing on the piano. So let's add some reverb to this too, so we get a little bit more vibe. We want some vibe when we are writing melodies, don't we? So that's epic reverb. So that could be a little melody. Actually, I think that choosing an instrument that resonates with your idea and what you want to write is quite important when you're writing melodies. At least for me, since the Apple Watch is reminding me to stand. I will defy. But anyway, yeah. It's important to choose an instrument that resonates with the idea that you have for the song that you're going to make. So that's why I usually go to The Gentleman, because it instantly resonates and gives me ideas like this. So there I have a little melody that was totally inspired by the sound and the reverb. So let's see if we can find something, if this sound works with the grid patch that we created there. So that's this first sketch with this with all these notes. So maybe also get rid of this other note because it's driving me in a certain direction. So let's see where this lands. A little bit of too much transposing things. Yeah, so that can be the melody for this little thing. So now we need to change that bass pad. Because it's going to the E. So that's the C sharp minor going to the F add 9. E add 9, sorry. And then up to the G sharp minor, 7th add 9. And to this F sus4, S sus2 or something, to make it poppy. So now I got some idea here from this little arrangement to make some delay on that maracas, the shaker. So it will give us some more rhythm. So the good thing about using this delay is that we don't have to program anything. We just add a delay and then we can shape the rhythm. let's do a little loop with that. Then we will extend this and make the second part here have a little bit of change in the melody. I think we can get rid of that metronome. Then have some, let's see. We need some reverb on that cymbal. Let's see what happened. We have this glide, little glide note going on. Let's get rid of that one. And did anyone notice that this first sample is sounding like seagulls? So we're definitely going with the sea theme here. The ocean theme. Okay, so we need to change the melody for the second part here. here. Let's do some note editing. Or just play it in. Yeah, just to do some simple stuff there. Okay, so is there something wrong with the chat? Seems to be something fishy going on. The live stream says the health is okay, but I can't seem to see that the comments are updating accurately, properly. Totally weird. So the video works, but the chat is broken. That's very strange. Yeah, it seems that I can't even log into my account here. Seems to be a YouTube issue here, because yeah, that's very weird. It only works on some accounts. Very, very weird. So if you want to comment, you can log into the Discord channel. Yeah, I might have to restart the stream here. So let's see if that helps with the issue.